I'm Steve Suttmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Today, we're going to discuss the return to athletics for Norfolk Public Schools. We have two special guests to discuss this topic. We have Zach Kershaw, the head athletic trainer from Granby High School. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we have Christine Feldbauer, the new head athletic trainer at Lake Taylor High School. Christine, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
We'll start off with Zach. And Christine, you both can chime in on this question. Just how long has this plan taken to get going for the return?
Well, we can date it all the way back until when schools were let out during the springtime for virtual learning at that point, and athletics were put on hold. We started to work on that plan and putting together kind of what we have now. And it's been a fluid plan that we have referenced through the World Health Organization, the CDC, the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee, and the Virginia Department of Health. And we've been constantly updating and revising that plan throughout the summer. And it brings us to where we are now, where a few weeks ago we got going with athletics. And we've been using these plans as our guides through the process. Okay,
Christine, again, it sounds like a lot of things were involved here. Just talk about, the number of people that were involved in terms of the planning. What, who was part of this plan?
Sure. So throughout the process, we've reached out to multiple organizations and worked as a team to develop this return. Obviously, the athletic trainers, the athletics department, downtown, the administrators at the Central Administration Building. As part of that, we've consulted with doctors. Like Zach said, we've consulted with multiple resources to make sure that we are using the most up-to-date and best evidence possible in regards to return to participation after COVID or the PPE guidelines. There's a lot of people involved with making sure that we are providing the safest environment for our student athletes, coaches, and staff for this return.
Okay. So, looking at the guidelines that the Virginia High School League provided, talk a little bit about how we were able to develop our guidelines to meet the guidelines to allow practice for our coaches, for our student athletes.
Yeah, so we, again, in reference to a multitude of resources, we were also given guidance from the VHSL in regards to phases of return and what sports should be allowed to return and which sports can return. And at this point, we've been trying to ensure that we are meeting all standards and all guidelines and to this return in regards to disinfectant equipment, social distancing, mask wearing. And again, we've been following from the VHSL and the state of Virginia standards as well.
Okay. So, a lot of different things involved in the return, but one area that we really addressed, again, was student safety. It's all about student safety, but Christine, let's talk a little bit about the app that our coaches, our student athletes have to use in order to show up to practice in a safe way.
Sure. So in regards to our daily COVID screening protocols, the first step is completing that screening app. So we are using the Our Schools Activity Scheduler app. All of our student athletes have been loaded into the database and sent instructions onto how to complete the app. The coaches and the staff, as well as if you are coming in contact with another athletic staff member or athlete, you need to be screened. So each morning, our staff, coaches, and athletes log into that app to complete their daily screening. It lists a bunch of signs or symptoms, if they've been traveling, if they've come in close contact with somebody who is COVID positive. We do also have questions about buses and transportation, because if we do have a incidence where we need to contact trace, that information is important to us. And they submit that through the app, and the school's athletic trainer is then notified of either a cleared successful completion, or if there are any red flags raised, such as symptoms or a close contact, that athletic trainer then follows up with that student, staff member, or coach. We ask that all of our student athletes, coaches, and staff complete this prior to noon to make sure that if we do have somebody who is exhibiting signs or symptoms, we can get a hold of them before practice starts, so we ensure that they don't arrive to campus and put other student athletes, coaches, or staff at risk.
Okay, Zach, just, from your point of view, you're a frontline worker, you see the app, you see the input, just how effective has this part of the program has been for the return?
Yeah, and to build off of what Christine said there at the end, I see the most important aspect of it is we're able to flag and potentially catch someone that is experiencing signs or symptoms prior to them even coming up to the facility. So we are reducing the risk of potential exposure to everyone else involved, from myself to the athletic director to the janitorial staff and all the teams participating in athletics right now. And for us to be able to get a notification from this application, and then for us to do our due diligence, follow up with the student athlete, their parent or guardian, and get to the bottom of these signs and symptoms, that's been imperative throughout this whole process. And so the screening app has allowed us to kind of almost in a way jump ahead of the curve in terms of trying to stop a situation before it even occurs.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the app. Let's say a student does check some signs and symptoms of COVID, and you've mentioned there's a follow-up, but how much information? I mean, what do we need to do to follow up? What do you do again in terms of following up with that athlete?
Yeah, so we're trying to identify the origin of these signs and symptoms. Are they associated directly with COVID-19? Are they associated, let's say, with allergy-related signs or symptoms? So it allows us to use our clinical decision-making and follow up and determine the potential source of these signs or symptoms. And if we are concerned about these signs or symptoms, we are asking that the student athletes, remain home for a 24-hour period until these signs or symptoms improve or go away. And again, we're also trying to ensure that there has been no known exposures to COVID-19. So again, we're following up to try to get to the bottom of the origin of the signs and symptoms.
Okay. So with any new program, and again, both of you are, we call you frontline workers. You're with the athletes and coaches every day. Talk about the buy-in, one from the coaches, then the student athlete, and any challenges that you have seen with the app.
Sure. So buy-in is super important in allowing us to return to athletics in general right now. Obviously, we're in the midst of a pandemic and things don't look exactly the way that they did last February. So getting our coaches and our student athletes to not only understand what to do, but understand why they're doing it. Why are they completing the app? Why do they need to complete it before noon? Wash our hands, wear our masks, all so that we could provide the safest environment for our student athletes to participate. So modeling that behavior and changing people's behavior. This is all relatively new to everybody. So learning about what they should do and why they need to do it is super important to allowing athletics to continue to occur and progress to full competition in the future.
Okay, Zach, any challenges from your aspect?
Yeah, I think just getting everyone to buy into the situation, and like Christine said, that involves proper education of the situation. But from our end, we've had great buy-in, and from down to myself and our athletic director here at Granby High School, monitoring and making sure we're following all our rules and regulations for our policies, all the way to the coaches. I mean, we have 3 sports going on at once in different locations at times, so we can't always be in the same in every location. So from the coaches, ensuring that the athletes are staying distance apart when possible and they're wearing their masks, and ensuring that they're not sharing any items that don't need to be shared and things like that. So from our end, we've really seen great buy-in from the coaching staffs. And once you can get the coaching staff to buy in, that also trickles down to your student athletes.
Okay. All right, great. So what are our next steps? Where do we go from here? We're in our conditioning, phase 3 in terms of what we can do in athletics, but what are the next steps in athletics?
I think the next steps with athletics is to keep doing what we're doing and build upon it each day. Like I said, this is relatively new for everybody, so we are all learning together and identifying where we're having some barriers or some difficulties, and building on that each day to continue to provide the safest environment for our student athletes to participate in. Because if we're able to continue to provide a safe environment, that definitely promotes or gives us support to move forward with competition at the high school level, at the VHSL level, and ultimately that comes from the state of Virginia as well. So continuing to improve every day and do better today than we did yesterday in regards to providing a safe environment and teaching everybody what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay, and one thing that we do, I guess it's our motto, is to get to the next day. And that's what we're doing by, wearing the face mask, social distancing, washing our hands, doing the app. So modeling, changing that behavior is critical. And another nice thing that has been developed by the athletic directors and the athletic trainers is our COVID information education for parents on our website. So we encourage parents that haven't viewed it to get on and check out just how safe we are providing it, the return to athletics. So we want to thank you both for being here today. You shared a lot of important information in regards to the return to athletics. So we appreciate everything that you've been doing and continue moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.